everybody on the team has a voice mentality. Everybody can come back with a suggestion. And the people that are doing a job every day are the most able to say what's right or what's wrong with what we're doing. And so that entrepreneurial spirit that's I'm going to create something, that I'm part of this team and we're going to be better together is really a part of our culture.
Put that coffee down.
Creators are leaders. Be careful what kind of leaders you're producing here.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
They realized that to be in power, you didn't need guns or money or even numbers. You just needed the will to do what the other guy wouldn't.
I'm not leaving. The show goes on.
Well, hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Construction Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Bradley Hartman. And on this show, we deliver ideas and insights from construction leaders all across the country to help you lead more effectively. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Capital One Trade Credit. If you're looking for a customizable, ready-to-use, robust platform to make it easier for your customers to buy from you, you will want to check out Capital One Trade Credit. This episode is also brought to you by our own Simple Sales Pipeline. If you are not forecasting and predicting your sales in the near term consistently with discipline, you are flying blind. It is sales malpractice. How do we solve that? Do we buy an expensive CRM that will take years to implement that no one will use? No, heck no, don't do that. You'll want to check out the Simple Sales Pipeline. Our promise to you is give us any sales professional with their accounts in 30 minutes or less. We will organize and value, and every month you can update that in less than 10 minutes. That's the commitment. Check it out at thesimpleSalesPipeline.com. So a couple months back, Erik, the producer, and I, we had a little East Coast swing, and we were able to meet up and get a plant tour from these individuals that are on the show today. And that is Alicia Zywko, Tim Smoyer, and Javan Lapp of Keylink Fencing and Railing. And I'm even more excited to be back with them in person in Las Vegas at IBS 2023. If you are going, we're going to be there. We're going to be with Keylink Fencing and Railing. We're also going to be with our friends at Hierarch. We're going to be around. Dude, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a blast. If you are going and you want to try to meet up at some point, do not hesitate to email me directly at bradley@bradleyhartmanandco.com. All right, so where was I? Right, East Coast swing with Erik the Producer. So we swung by New Holland, Pennsylvania, and we got a tour of the Keylink Fencing and Railing plant. And I've been on lots of plant tours over the years. Back when I was in purchasing at Pulte Homes, that was kind of a specialty. And after a while, you're like, okay, I know the routine. You guys tell me this. And we wander around this place and it smells a little funky. And you see some big machines and you're like, all right, whatever. Some are better than others. This one absolutely blew me away. The innovation, the technology they used to walk us through to show how they built beautifully designed railing and fencing for outdoor and indoor living. That's what Keylink Fencing and Railing does. Their website says you can bring style to any deck, porch, or balcony. Keylink aluminum railing and fencing retains their clean look with minimal maintenance, giving your outdoor living area a timeless style and modern vibe. That's what's on my business card. That's what we're going for. Timeless style and modern vibe. Probably not there yet, but that's where we're going. Anyway, so Keylink Fencing and Railing, we got a tour of their location. And like I said, I was blown away. If you look on Instagram back in late October, I believe you'll see some photos of that. I guaranteed I slowed down production by asking 1,000 questions, but the technology that they purchased and brought in-house was stunning. And the local craftsmen that built their own machinery and systems to produce this stuff at the volume they do blew my mind. So anyway, Alicia Zywko, she's in business development. She's also in our OSR Academy, our Outside Sales Rep Academy. She is a standout. When I look at young talent in our industry, I think of her and her ability to build relationships, solve problems. You're going to love hearing from her. She's amazing. We've got Mr. Tim Smoyer. He's the VP of Sales. This guy has been around and has so much knowledge and wisdom and energy that will come through. I guarantee it. So he worked for A.D. Moyer. He worked selling Pella windows. He worked at Stock Building Supply. He knows a ton of people and he knows so many different facets of the industry. And that's why I believe he is so effective at what he's doing, driving sales at Keylink Fencing and Railing and their sister company, Superior Plastic Products. And the third member of the Keylink Fencing and Railing team is Mr. Javan Lapp. He's the COO. And what you will hear from Javan, he's going to speak to and around what he has listed on his LinkedIn profile. He says, I thrive on developing systems that improve an organization's culture and ability to scale. My work is motivated by an instinct that there is always more to learn, new ways of seeing that bring greater understanding and room to improve. Amen. I couldn't agree more. So without further ado, you're going to enjoy this conversation where we hit on a number of different things about leadership and quality and productivity and teamwork and so much more. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with a trio at Keylink Fencing and Railing, Alicia Zywko, Tim Smoyer, and Javan Lapp. As always, thank you for listening. All right, friends, I'm very glad to be here. I'm told we're in the Lancaster County. This is correct. And we are in the town of New Holland. We've got done today with a fantastic tour of multiple buildings, some incredible technology, totally changed my perspective of the work that goes into your products, but also the people behind it. I'm excited to talk to you guys for a few minutes. We are with Alicia Zywko. Your title is...
Business Development Specialist.
Did I just do that again? I think I did. I pronounced it with an S. Alicia Zywko.
Zoo.
With a Z.
Nailed it.
That's fantastic.
Zoo is an operative word.
It is. It fits. It fits. We'll circle back on that theme. Mr. Tim Smoyer, title?
VP Sales.
VP of Sales. And Mr. Javan Lapp,
Chief Operating Officer.
Welcome to the show. Javan, let's start right with you because the origin story, when I come here, there's 6 buildings, there's several hundred people, some of literally the most incredible technology that I've seen personally in quite some time. My initial question is, how the hell did this whole thing get started? Take us back. What was the origin story here where this whole thing got triggered here?
Thanks, Bradley. The origin story goes back to the late 70s with a local businessman. At the time, he was working in the construction trades and wanted to do some things for himself. And he had some dogs at home on a farm. He was no longer farming, and he wanted to keep them in shelter and not just put them in the barn. So he couldn't find the perfect dog kennel for his dog. And he went looking for the right materials that were sturdy, that were long-lasting, that had the right amount of space, things that wouldn't take a lot of maintenance. And so he ended up putting together different components of products to make dog kennels. And then he got into some fencing, and everybody liked what he was doing, and they wanted him to do the same for their properties and for their pets.
So all of this started with dog kennels.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating. That's great. Well, and as I was going through, again, the different buildings and kind of seeing the process, multiple folks kind of seeing the value stream as we've gone through, Tim, one of the questions I'm curious about is, you guys have taken this concept, I think, of who, not how. We talk about it a lot, which is we often know what to do and we know how to do it. The problem is, do we have the bandwidth? Do we have the capabilities? Do we have the right person to do that? It seems to me that you've taken that concept and said, we know how to install railing for a high-end deck well, but we've moved that, taken it out of the contractor's responsibility. We've done it right up front in the plant, in a climate-controlled environment, but there is going to be a different price point. It's going to be higher because there's more value to it. How hard was that to educate this industry, and how hard does it continue to be when you've already done that?
It's a continuing challenge in the dealer-contractor relationship that we educate people and make them more comfortable. Number one, to your point, a little bit higher price point. number 2 with a quality product. And how we do that is we try to control as much as possible in the plant. So for horizontal cable, we pre-drill, we powder coat, we put all the components together. We make sure that it's done right. So it makes it easier for the contractor to deliver a high quality install for a homeowner. And it gives the homeowner the ability to get a product that's not only right day 1, but is still going to be right year 3, year 5, year 10. And that's our goal.
Alicia, from the business development role, I think one thing you guys continue to do really well, and I think it differentiates you, is your, I would say beyond your willingness, it's an interest and it's a passion to descend through the channel, through distributors, through the dealer, to really connect with the contractor and really focus on that contractor and the homeowner. How does that change how you think as a manufacturer when you are going through all those levels, which is obviously a lot more work, which is, I think, the reason a lot of manufacturers don't do it?
So from the business development standpoint, and really within our entire company, the whole point is to build relationships and get down to the contractor. So with doing that, bringing a contractor in for a plant tour, giving them just taking them through the entire experience and then showing them how we can support them, providing them different resources, providing them different training tools, and not just for the contractor, but then also for the dealer and the distributor. So for the business development team, we've built out different tools. We have a training deck that we can utilize to teach how to install the product. So we're not just providing the product, we're providing the different resources to help sell and help just build awareness around the brand as well.
Yeah, I can imagine part of Alicia is just the confidence of the contractor or a builder who says, that looks awesome. I've never done it before. I'm going to be on the hook for that. It looks complicated. And if I screw it up, or, we subcontract and they screw it up, now I'm going to be the owner. I imagine, like in a lot of parts of life and certainly in selling, it comes down to confidence. And do I have confidence in myself, my ability to do it and to build it right the first time? But also, if it doesn't, do I have confidence in the people behind me that they're going to help, which is you guys?
Right. Yeah. We want to have your back. So from the distributor to the dealer to the contractor and even to the architect, we want to be able to provide, whatever's going to do well for, and again, different training resources that we can work with sales and marketing on to help just serve and bring value down to that customer. So one of the things that we do with Instagram, again, 100% working together as a team with business development, sales, and marketing, is we're leveraging that platform to help build relationships. So we've seen that contractors are super active on that platform. So that's how they're growing their brand. That's how they're building and showing their beautiful designs and attracting homeowners. So one of the stories that is fun, like Heather mentioned, comes from a target that we worked with our distributor and our dealer on during the business planning process, and got in front of them, started having communications with them. I also believe they visited us during a show, one of the shows that we partnered with our distributor with on. And, we just started having conversations, got the product in front of them, introduced them to several different team members. And at the end of the day, they were like, this is a great product. How can I get it? Here's my dealer. And who can I buy from? Or who can my dealer get this from? So being able to connect all those different dots throughout the channel and then share it on social, be able to just, again, do a shout out to everybody so they then can reshare that content has just been super cool to see.
Yeah, really connect the dots online.
Yes.
So they're getting the hits. They understand that we're talking about them. They're part of this. And again, I think it's not just going through the channel, it's also bringing everyone along for the ride. And if I'm a dealer, you guys help me land more business on a higher end product, you made that really easy, and then you took care of a customer of mine, all of a sudden, number one, it gets a lot more enjoyable. Number two, it gets a lot more profitable as well. Javan, I want to ask you, the one visual in my mind that I've consistently come back to is kind of this triangle, which is kind of my apparently very inaccurate ideas of the community and the people that are here having kind of the Amish reputation or the Amish roots here, which is, I think, probably very anti-innovation to some degree. And then you see what these people are doing here on your behalf, on your team, which is very high tech, seem like there's this entrepreneurial spirit, this engagement with risk and trying new things and really innovating. And then we have within an industry, I don't think this is going to shock anyone, but a lot of times, especially at the dealer level and to some degree contractors, are very slow to adopt new technologies. So I keep coming back to this. And how much does this area, which I would kind of say is kind of this non-traditional talent cluster, right? You want biomedical expertise, you go to Boston. You want, venture capital expertise, you go to Silicon Valley. It seems to me that if you want to run a manufacturing plant with people that fit in immediately, you come to Lancaster County or New Holland. You having a lot more experience here. Tell me more about that and the people that you have working here.
Yeah, great question. People are interesting, right? We're all different, and Lancaster is a very diverse place. And so you talk about the sort of the brand image of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and the horse-drawn carriage and the Amish community. That's definitely a very big part of the draw for this area, particularly the tourism industry. The agricultural past here is very strong, but there has been manufacturing here for quite a long time that has done well in numerous different sectors. And a lot of that makes sense because coming out of a strong ag community, the mechanical inclinations that are required by people that are able to farm and run the equipment necessary to farm matches very well with the manufacturing sector. But Lancaster County is diverse in a lot of ways because Lancaster has been on the front end of welcoming immigrants over the years from different war-torn countries for going back decades. We've had folks come in from all over the world into this area. We've been able to employ some of those folks here, even most recently needing to work on some translation services to make some of that work. But yeah, there's just a wide variety. We've got great tech schools here. We actually got a great arts community in Lancaster as well. That doesn't tie into what we do quite so well. There's a growing tech community here in Lancaster. So we have a wide range of talent pool available to us, which is really, really great. But there is a segment of the Amish community that is very innovative, and actually our founder belonged to that group. He was probably could be a poster child for sort of that innovative entrepreneurial Amishman who was willing to just try new things and do things differently, and especially when it came to how to make things and how to craft things. And so willing to take some risks. And there's definitely a strand of that runs through even the more traditional parts of this community. And that served us well. Innovation is a big part of our DNA as a company and has been since our founding.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So Tim, I was wandering through, and there's lots of things that were kind of a Tar Heel blue, kind of a baby blue that was around. Some of these were just on carts with wheels. Some of these were odd shaped. Some of them there was like motors attached and things were moving. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is fascinating. What's with the baby blue color? The legend. If it's that color, what does it mean?
It's a higher pay grade than me to figure out how to build things and engineer things. That said, we have an amazing team of research and development, and we have an amazing team in our engineering and machine shops. And those folks are part of our culture of vertical integration. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that we do everything we can to control all that we can in every phase of the business. So the light blue carts that you saw and the light blue equipment that you saw is simply stuff that we made in-house. Some of it is racking, some of it's machinery, some of it is custom machinery to do things to help us in our manufacturing and fabrication process. And it's fun to go through the plant and see all those parts and pieces moving, knowing that the people in our mechanical department put all that together, engineered all that, tested it out, and made sure it works. The other piece of that is the continuous improvement mindset that gives us the ability to take something that's already working and make it better. And that's part of the whole everybody on the team has a voice mentality. Everybody can come back with a suggestion. And the people that are doing a job every day are the most able to say what's right or what's wrong with what we're doing. And so that entrepreneurial spirit, that's I'm going to create something, that I'm part of this team and we're going to be better together, is really a part of our culture. And I believe that goes back to Ruben, frankly.
Well, it was neat for me to come and see what equipment that is, right, the most modern, is literally the cutting edge of what you guys are doing. And then we go into this other part, and I couldn't tell, it was just really cool retro machinery that had branding that looked like it was 100 years old. And Javan says, this press this person's using right now is literally over 100 years old, right? So you have this juxtaposition, but at the end of the day, you have the talented people who are making their own stuff that works really well and fits into what we're doing. We can do that, but we're also making investments in, the 2023 line of whatever Swiss thing that was shoving through stainless steel SL6 or whatever the hell it was. Like, I was just blown away by all this, but it was interesting to see it all together. And again, for me, I am not mechanically intelligent in this way at all. So to see people do this and say, this is part of our DNA, I think it's amazing.
Well, the Swiss shop, which you were referring to, 11 machines in there, and we purchased a couple of machines to double and expand our capacity. And to watch that space being cleaned out and then watch the machines come in and be set up and running within a week is mind-boggling to me. I don't know how they do it.
So, Javan, I'm going to ask you a question to tell a story, although, Tim, you were very gracefully leading this section of the tour. When we were talking about powder coating and had this beautiful piece of machinery, and I was asking about it, and you were sharing how this kind of really ties back to the people and really valuing people and that being a core value, but also them being really competitive. And it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to change colors. We change colors in the powder coating with some frequency, I'm assuming. And their attempt to really get down below the 4-minute mile or something. But share that story, Javan.
Yeah. That's a great example of our people working very hard to make our processes better, which allows us to be better for our customers because we have more flexibility and we have the ability to control our processes better. We have been for quite some time taking about 10 to 15 minutes to change it between colors. However, we knew that we could get it better than that if we would focus on it. And so we had teams of people come together and work on what are the obstacles. So similar to in a NASCAR race, the pit stop, how do we get a crew of people to very quickly change from one color to another? And initially we thought that we had some obstacles that were going to keep us from getting this down below 10 minutes. But as the team identified what those were, as they worked together to find creative solutions for those obstacles, they were able to get it down under 5 minutes. And now we're hovering on a record that's just a little over 4 minutes. So the team is continually looking for an opportunity to figure out how to get that down below that 4-minute mark now.
Yeah, and this idea, I think whether you're either a contractor listening or a builder or a dealer or anyone, it's, hey, we set a goal. Is this possible? And Javan, you said it somewhere during our tour. You said, we took a step back and said, hey, what if we did this? Or what if we did that? And I think that those two words in combination can be really powerful. And says, what if we were able to do this under 5 minutes? What would have to be true for that? And then you have the people that are working on this every day and they feel like they're part of a team. They understand if we can produce more and we get the cost down, we can sell more. There's that virtuous cycle that really does deliver value to your user. Some amazing things can happen. I want to make sure we hit on something that both Alicia and Tim have kind of talked about, which is, I think it was different for me to see and even hear about and then see in action. It's this idea for a manufacturer to say, actually, we're not going to sell the product first. And actually, we're not going to sell the company first. We're going to go in reverse order. We're going to sell ourselves, right? And then we're going to sell the company, and then we're going to sell the product. And I think this tour is a big part of that. But Alicia, can you go into that, about that philosophy of almost saying, we're going to bury the lead very intentionally because it's not about the product, at least not yet, right? And I want you to understand who we are as people, what we care about, the core values that drive us long-term and our vision. And then we can talk about the company, and then we can talk about the product, because I see it firsthand for a lot of manufacturers in our industry and outside. It's product, product, product all day, and you have no idea who's behind that. Alicia, because I'm tired and I'm not a very good podcast host. There was not a question in there. It was a rambling statement based on what I felt with you guys. Can you give me some details about that kind of philosophy of selling yourselves first, then your company, and then your product?
So at the end of the day, everybody has a product, but we feel as a company, what sets us apart is they don't have our people. I think the leadership team and the management team, they're just super on point when it comes to getting the right people in the right seats and then seeing how coaching them to get them into a position where they can thrive. So on the plant tour, we try to incorporate several different teams and different faces and different experiences and perspectives. So in that way, the customer, whoever's coming through the plant, has a great idea of how we tick as a company and what works well for us.
Yeah, because we really believe that our people are our most important thing. So we want our people to show who they are and the talent they bring. We want to show the company and our investment in our people and in our product and in all the equipment and technology it takes to get a great product out. And then we'll talk to you about product, and we'll find ways to support you to make you comfortable to use that product and use it successfully. That's the goal. And so what we're trying to do is take something that on a plant tour or training or whatever, something that's tangible. Mm-hmm. It's a product and it's an install process, but we're trying to show that there's more to it than that. There are the people that support you, the company that supports you, and then there's the product and the install.
Yeah, well, I thought it was neat when you guys showed for your events, whether it's at IBS in Vegas or other shows, that I think very different from other railing manufacturers is that there was not 800 linear feet of railing penning people in. There were these small little booths that allowed people to very quickly kind of come in one side and out the other, which I've seen some competitors. I know what they do. And the whole idea is that I don't want you to be afraid to come in. I want you to check it out. And if you want to talk to us, we're here. But there was really there's openings on 3 sides, right? And then the back wall had, the TVs or whatever. So I thought that was just a really visual representation of your core value, which is, hey, we're not going to make you feel weird, or it's not a high pressure sales situation. I want you to come in, come as you are, check it out, and feel free to leave whenever you want. And there's multiple exits. No reason to be fearful here. And I think in our industry that is filled with salespeople, many people are still afraid of salespeople. So that really struck me. So to bring this all home, Javan, maybe any kind of parting words or any way to kind of bring back to the experience that I had on this tour, how does that really tie into your core values and who you guys are as a company and as a team?
Yeah, for us, it's all about the people. And I know that's common to say. It's common to say, hey, sales relationships are about partnerships, to the point where it's cliche and it starts to lose all meaning. So the key for us is, what behaviors can we demonstrate? What way can we act that show that we're in this for the long term? Look, we're a family business. We're a family-owned business. We're looking to build legacy products that add value to people's homes for a very long time. And so we need to make sure that the way that we act with not only our people inside the company, but with our customers and potential customers outside the company is one that aligns with building a long-term legacy brand, and not one that is meant to be transactional in the short term. So for us, that means come in, get to know us, find out what makes us tick, because that's what we are doing. That's what drives our why behind what we're doing. It's who we are. It's who we're going to keep on being. Look, products come and go. Trends may change, but who we are is really key to what we're trying to build. And if we're going to build quality partnerships and really link people together, KeyLink is about linking people together around value, then we want people to know who we are, and we want them to see what makes us tick, what makes our people excited, the way in which we work to make our jobs more filled with joy, and to love what we do and get better at what we do every day. For us, the plant tour is one way that we can show that and demonstrate that.
Yeah. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to thank you. And I lied. We're going to close, obviously. I'm a sales guy. We're going to close with the sales guy. Let's make it really obvious. Every sales situation needs some sort of call to action, some next step here. Set aside the humility. Where can people learn more about KeyLink? What do you want them to do having listened to this? Tim Smoyer, go.
Well, what I'd like people to do is find our distribution partners and our dealer partners and engage with us. If you're a contractor out there and you need product, you need great product because you want to represent your brand well, we have the ability to provide that great product through great partners that we're already engaged with at distribution and dealer level. And our goal is to support that, to support you, because everything we do is aimed at the contractor, homeowner, contractor, building owner transaction, which is putting a product in a real life space that looks beautiful and lasts a long time. So if you want to do that as a contractor, you found your home. KeyLink is the place to go.
Wonderful. Tim Smoyer, Javan Lapp, Alicia Zywko. As always, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right then, friends, how did that go? A little tour de force. There's 4 of us. So Alicia Zywko, Tim Smoyer, and Javan Lapp. Hopefully you got at least one nugget or two from that. And also check out their website, keylinkonline.com. You're going to see they do a lot of things well that would apply to any business. That's branding, that's copy, that's imagery. They do a lot of that so well as you think about branding and leadership and positioning. So I'd strongly recommend go check out what they do and see how that might be implemented in your business. Now, our goal here is to make this the best podcast you listen to. If you have suggestions for improvements or topics that we should consider or guests we should have on the show, do not hesitate to email me directly at bradley@bradleyhartmanandco.com. Again, bradley@bradleyhartmanandco.com. And if you got some insight or value from this episode with Alicia Zywko, Tim Smoyer, and Javan Lapp of KeyLink Fencing and Railing, please leave us a quick review, whether it's Spotify or Stitcher or Apple or wherever you are listening to this. Those mean more to us than you know. And we will be sharing more insights and ideas that folks like Tim and Alicia and Javan shared with us, but didn't make the cut in the final episode through our newsletter. It's the Construction Leadership Newsletter. It comes out every other week. I bust my tail to make sure we are doing what we preach every single week, which is delivering value first. I write every single word of it, and I take pride in it, and I love doing it. If you are not subscribed to it, you can go to bradleyhartmanandco.com, scroll down to the bottom on any single page, and subscribe. It'll come right into your email inbox every other week. And in the event that you say, Hartman, you didn't really live up to the promise of making it worth my time and attention, you can unsubscribe with one click. But I promise you, I'm going to bust my tail every single week to make sure it's valuable. So again, that is the Construction Leadership Newsletter. It's free. Go subscribe. Make sure you're getting all these details. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Capital One Trade Credit. And this episode is brought to you by the Simple Sales Pipeline. It's our own sales pipeline. It's not a CRM. If you are not forecasting and predicting your sales in the near term consistently with discipline, you are flying blind. Take care of that immediately. 30 minutes or less per sales rep is our promise to organize and value it. Check it out. It's the simpleSalesPipeline.com. All right, friends, that's all I got. If you are going to Las Vegas, if you're going to the International Builders Show, if you're going to be there, KeyLink Fencing and Railing will be there. Eric and I will be there. We're doing podcasts. We're taking videos. We're going to be soaking in everything that show has to offer. Shoot me an email, bradley@bradleyhartmanandco.com, and we will make sure we meet up at some point. We're going to be there. We're excited about it. All right, I'm done. We're moving on. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first. Make it a great week.